What is up, and happy mental push up Monday, baby. Today, friends, we are going to talk about coaching. Yes, coaching. So, many years ago, when I first started playing basketball, I used to shoot this two-handed shot. And when I got to 7th grade, it was my first time playing on an AAU team. And the coach, he goes up to me and he says, "You know that you shoot with two hands?" So each day I go home and I teach myself how to shoot with one hand. Well, then I get to 9th grade and I'm in the gym and I'm shooting, doing gym class. And Coach Lowry, he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, do you know you shoot with your elbow out?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that." So that meant that my follow through was like this. It wasn't going towards the goal. So he taught me to shoot with my elbow in. I don't know if you ever seen Love and Basketball. Like, you know how that? Yeah, that. So he taught me how to shoot like that. So I started making shots pretty decently from the mid-range. Well, I get to college. And coach says, "Hey, do you know that you can't shoot? You only shoot mid-range shots or you make layups. You can't shoot. I need you to shoot threes." So I go that summer and I make 300 shots 3 days a week to help me get stronger in shooting. So I teach myself how to become a 3-point shooter. So what am I saying here? Well, I was doing good with my little one-handed shot, my little two-handed shot. I was doing all right with my elbow out. I was doing okay doing those different things, even my little mid-range game. But I all got better because of coaching. The feedback that each one of these coaches gave me helped me become a better player. And I think that's so relevant as we think about ourselves as educators, because the only way that we can improve and grow in our craft as teachers is by coaching. One of the best ways to do that is coaching. So today, friends, we're going to talk about the Fab Four to coaching. Number 1, coaching does not work unless you do. And this is really just about personal responsibility. Like, I can get feedback all day. Like, I've definitely done. I have coaches now. I've gotten feedback. But it doesn't work unless I execute on it. Like, that's the jam. Because I used to think like, oh, I have a coach. And now it's just going to change. But literally, I have to execute on the things they tell me to do. It only works unless we do. Secondly, I'll say that you want to find a coach that is an expert in the thing that you want to grow in. So if I want to get better at football, I'm not going to talk to a basketball coach. I want to receive feedback from someone who has already done it. I know last week we talked about help, and that's one of the ways to save us time and energy. Like, I have a business and communications coach, and they give me great feedback on some of the things that I had an idea this morning, actually. So we talked about, I had an idea this morning. She was like, "Oh, no, we're not going to do that. Like, we're not ready for that." But in my with my own self, I probably would have just went ahead and did it and wouldn't have thought about the next couple steps that came with it. So it can just save you time and energy, but you want to find someone who is an expert. Number 3, prepare for some of the uncomfortable benefits. So 2 benefits that come with receiving coaching is vulnerability and accountability. So if you have a really great coach, they're going to hold you accountable to the things that you say that you want to do. So I have a quota. I have to make 5 calls per day. And I sent a text to my coach this week and I said, "Oh, I made 2 calls." The text back immediately was, "What happened to the other 3?" Right? But it's uncomfortable sometimes. It's like, "Oh, dang, I didn't do it." But really, it's like a mirror to you to say, "Okay, I need to get to it because I said I wanted this, and it's somebody holding you accountable to that." And the second part of that is vulnerability. You're putting your art out there. You're putting the thing that you do out there for someone else to see, and that can be uncomfortable. It's like really vulnerable, especially as I think about teachers as educators. Like, oftentimes I think that people are unwilling to receive feedback and coaching because it's like, "Oh my gosh, like, what if I'm not doing it right? I want to get this right. I am the quote-unquote expert. I should know this already," right? But coaching can help you in that way, but it's almost being willing to be vulnerable. We have to be willing to put ourselves out there. So I know one time I did this speech and I thought I killed it, right? Like, I thought I did the thing, but it was kind of nervous to send to my coach and get the feedback, but it was really helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, "Oh, do you know that you don't finish your sentences?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that I didn't do that." But just putting yourself out there, it can be uncomfortable, which leads to the last part, and I think it's tied into feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Shout out to MJ. for the quote, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Because as humans, we have blind spots. Just like we have things, you know how you're trying to get your hair right and tight? You're trying to get that thing right and tight in the back and you can't see it, so you're trying to use the mirror to see. That's the same thing. We have blind spots, and if you have a really great coach, they're going to point those things out to you. They're gonna help you see the things that are possibly getting in the way of you achieving the things that you want. So if my students aren't getting it, you know, they may say, hey, your explanation wasn't clear. Did you check to see if the kids were in the car? But you're getting this real-time feedback that can help you grow and progress in your particular thing, whether that's teaching, whatever it is. They're helping you get to the next level and get to the things that you actually want. So let's recap our 4 points. Number 1, coaching doesn't work unless you do. It is more than just receiving feedback. We have to be willing to execute on that feedback. Secondly, you want to find someone who is an expert in the thing that you want to grow in. Like if I want to learn about basketball, hey, I'm going to find someone that is a basketball expert, just like math, English, whatever. All right, the third thing is that prepare for some of, I almost forgot my words there, but prepare for some of the uncomfortable benefits, which is vulnerability and accountability. You want someone that's going to hold your foot to the fire to the things that you say that you want, and it can be very vulnerable. Like it's a benefit, but it can be vulnerable to put yourself out there and get real-time feedback, which is the last thing. Prepare for the feedback. We all have blind spots, and that's the beauty of having a coach, is they can point those things out to you. So in closing, I'll share this. When I was a teacher, I was a level 5, supposed to be like when kids come in your class, like they grow. Like that's the jam, right? Like you're a pretty effective teacher if you are level 5. That means students that come in your class, they grow. So I was in a coaching session one time, and I wish I could remember her name. I'm probably gonna remember once I finish this video. But she explained to me what true modeling was. I remember that. I used to just explain step by step. And she said, no. Why don't you try this? Like, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking as you're solving this problem. Like, tell me your thought process. What are you thinking? And so we practiced it that day. And I go into my class and I start to notice something. Because I used to do example after example after example. Like at least 4 to 5 examples. But what I noticed that changed was I did this. I would do my little think aloud, like, oh, this is what I'm thinking. This is why I did this. This is what I thought. Da-da-da. We do another example together, and then students were ready to roll. Like the mastery went to a whole nother level. But it wouldn't have grown like that if I wouldn't have received the feedback from this coach. She changed the game for me as an educator. Like I could do my little thing, and then they worked for the rest of the class because of the feedback that I took. But what if I was like, yo, I'm not listening to you, lady. Who are you to tell me about what I need to do? ... Wouldn't have happened. I would have stayed stagnant because I already quote unquote knew. And as educators, I want to challenge us that oftentimes it can be so uncomfortable for someone to come in our room and say, hey, I want to help you become a better teacher. I want to give you some feedback and help you grow. It can be uncomfortable. However, how can we elevate? How can we grow? How can we get to the next level if we're unwilling to receive feedback? Because I get it. We are the quote-unquote experts. But none of us know everything. So I just challenge you to be open to coaching, because there's so much power in coaching. And I'm out.